You've heard this passage before, but what if the way you learned it made it easier to ignore? What if Jesus wasn't describing good people, but quietly exposing the kind of life that doesn't survive his kingdom? Because if you're honest, most of what we call blessed today would have made no sense on that mountain. Success, certainty, being admired, being right, none of those made the list. And here's the uncomfortable part. If you had been standing in that crowd, there's a chance you would have felt passed over. Not rejected, just unseen. Because Jesus didn't begin by praising strength. He began by naming the ones who had nothing left to hide. So before you hear the words you think you know, ask yourself this: if blessing looks nothing like the life you're building, what does that say about the kingdom you're chasing? This moment, this reversal, begins in Matthew chapter 5. Jesus didn't walk into a temple, he climbed a mountain. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Not the confident, not the self-made, not the spiritually impressive. The poor in spirit, the ones who know they don't have enough. The ones who've stopped pretending they do. This isn't humility as a personality trait, it's poverty, inside. When was the last time you stopped trying to appear strong and admitted you needed God? Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This wasn't poetic, it was uncomfortable. Because mourning means something has already been lost, something broken, something you can't fix. Jesus doesn't rush past grief. He doesn't shame it. He calls it blessed. What grief have you learned to numb instead of bringing it into God's presence? Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meekness wasn't admired then, and it isn't now. Meekness looks like restraint when you could dominate, like trust when you could control. Not weakness, strength laid down on purpose. Where are you gripping for control because you're afraid of what trust might cost? By now, the crowd would have been quiet. This wasn't a motivational talk. This was a slow dismantling of the scoreboard, and Jesus wasn't finished. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Not those who crave success, not those who chase validation, those who ache for what is right, even when it costs them comfort. This hunger isn't casual, it's relentless. What do you reach for when you feel empty? And does it ever truly satisfy? Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Mercy always sounds beautiful until you're asked to give it to the undeserving, to the inconvenient, to the person who didn't apologize. Jesus doesn't separate mercy received from mercy given. They rise together. Who have you decided doesn't deserve grace? And what has that decision done to your heart? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Not the perfect, the undivided. Purity here isn't about behavior alone. It's about allegiance. A heart pulled in one direction. What competes for your loyalty right now? Without you even noticing, the blessings keep climbing, but so does the cost. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Peacemakers don't avoid conflict. They step into it with love. They absorb tension others run from. They refuse to choose sides without choosing truth. Where has silence felt safer than obedience? And then Jesus ends, not with comfort, but with a warning. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He doesn't promise applause, he promises resistance. Because once you belong to this kingdom, you no longer fully fit in any other. The final blessing doesn't remove pain, it explains it. If following Jesus has never cost you anything, what kind of kingdom are you really living for? Jesus sat on a mountain and described a life that doesn't win often, but lasts forever. This wasn't about how to be happy, it was about who God calls blessed. And the list still confronts us today. Not with noise, but with truth. If these words unsettled you, they were meant to.